Back to follow-up segment tonight. As you may know, the former boss of the National Public Radio outfit was forced to resign after a hidden camera sting exposed two NPR executives as committed left-wing people. No surprise, but with Congress threatening to pull funding from NPR, Vivian Schiller had to go. But she is not going quietly.
These hidden video cameras, I mean, how concerned are you about this, and in particular the way this one has gone down and continues to be?
Extremely concerned. I think it's an abomination. I mean, this kind of tactic, for somebody to attach the word, some are calling this a form of journalism. This is not journalism. You don't ensnare people. You don't entrap people with hidden cameras. You don't pretend. You don't pretend to be somebody who you're not. This is, I don't know what this is, but it's got nothing to do with anything that resembles the journalism that I know.
All right, joining us now from Los Angeles, Lila Rose, president of Live Action, which did the recent hidden camera stings on Planned Parenthood, and Fox News analyst Leslie Marshall, who sympathizes with Ms. Schiller. Okay, now listen, Leslie. Don't you want to know the truth about NPR? Don't you want to know what's really going on in that agency? Leslie.
I want to know the truth about, Bill, I want to know the truth about every agency that the government funds, left or right.
Okay, so, all right, so you want to know the truth. NPR, against every fact that I've ever seen after the Juan Williams debacle, continued to say to the American public, we're not biased left. We're not that organization. We're fair and balanced. We provide news coverage. The whole organization is on the up and up. That's what NPR put out to the public. The Undercover sting revealed as not the case, that the two executives, both high-ranking, were committed left-wingers. So that's the truth. We now know it. So what's your beef, Leslie?
My beef is this is not journalism. When I was going for my master's in broadcast journalism, I was never taught about putting a wire down my blouse or wearing a hidden camera. I was taught to get the facts and report the truth. My career. 60 Minutes does it. A lot of people do hidden camera stuff, Leslie. Come on, you know that. But Bill, in your background, you've done investigative journalism, and you know that you don't lie about who you are, and you don't misrepresent the organization.
That's true, but this wasn't a journalistic enterprise. This guy who did it, okay, he's not a journalist. He's an activist.
Correct.
He's an activist.
Correct, that's it.
Right.
Correct.
So he's getting the truth out to the American public, and you're objecting.
I'm not objecting to the truth. I'm objecting to the method and to journalism being attached.
But we couldn't
Activism
get
is
it
one
any
thing.
other way
Journalism,
because NPR was lying.
NPR wasn't lying,
Of course
Bill,
they were.
No.
They were saying they aren't a left-wing organization, and they are.
Bill, there are left and right people at the top in every media outlet, and you know that as well as I do.
There aren't any right-wing people at NPR, Leslie. Let me break it to you. There aren't any. Zero.
You're telling me that because two executives at one meeting
I'm telling you, they can't trot out any conservative people or any black people now that Juan's fired. They're all white. How's that? All right, Lila, now you do this kind of work.
I can't see the color on the radio.
You lost, Leslie. Lila, you do this kind of work. You're not a journalist, but you go in and you try to embarrass Planned Parenthood. Leslie's point is that you are not being honest, that you're telling Planned Parenthood you're something else, you're not something else. You're going in, you're lying to them, and you say what?
Well, Bill and Leslie, first of all, we're not trying to embarrass or get anybody at Planned Parenthood, the biggest abortion chain, to do anything they don't do every day. Our undercover tactics, which are an industry standard in undercover journalism, to pose real-life scenarios to Planned Parenthood workers at all levels of the organization, and we document things the public otherwise would not know about. The rampant sexual abuse cover-up at Planned Parenthood, the willingness to aid and abet in the trafficking of young girls, the medical misinformation that this abusive organization is perpetuating to women and against women. This is so important for people to know about. The public deserves to know these things. When groups like Planned Parenthood, the biggest abortion chain in our country, is receiving $363 million taxpayer dollars, people should be thanking us for this investigative work.
Okay,
the mainstream media should
Lila,
be doing this investigative work as well.
You're distorting it a little bit. There is a law that public money doesn't go directly for abortions, so that they do
Bill,
some
the money
sleight
is
of hand.
fungible.
All right, they do some sleight
The money goes to pay the very workers that are covering up sexual abuse.
Okay.
The money goes to pay for the facilities where young girls are being abused.
You proved in some cases that they absolutely, Planned Parenthood was breaking the law by advising underage people to do X, Y, and Z. But the people they were advising weren't hookers and pimps. They were masquerading. Do you feel bad about that?
Exactly, and that's the whole point. We are representing real victims or real abusers that go into these clinics that use. But there are court cases. But Bill, let's talk realistically here. There are abuse victims that are taken into Planned Parenthood clinics. Court cases where these young girls grow up and sue Planned Parenthood later on for the abuse that they endured. Real stories out there of these young girls and the sexual abuse going on at Planned Parenthood.
I would rather you get somebody in that category and use them as
the mainstream
your
media is not reporting on those stories, and they need to be. That's why we're out there doing this investigative
let's give
work
Leslie the last word, to be fair. Let's give Leslie the last word. Lila makes her can, like the same thing with NPR. You're not going to get the truth out of Planned Parenthood unless you do these things, and you say.
I say that's absolutely not true, because if you have a great investigative journalist, which, Bill, I've seen some of your work in the past, and you've done that, you can get the facts without misrepresenting and distorting the facts yourself and stating who you aren't. In the makeup room, Lila, you said to me that you want to get the message out.
I'd like to see somebody do it. Let's see NBC, let's see ABC do it. Let's have them investigate Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
I would like to see them do it. Let's have them do it.
Leslie.
I challenge you.
The mainstream media isn't going to do it because they sympathize with them. All right, ladies, thanks very much for a very lively debate. Directly ahead, why is it